Yeah, you're going to come up. Yes. So y'all are calling. Order, and I'll turn on my microphone. That might help.
Right here.
It's going to be fun this evening, folks. I don't guarantee fun for the whole thing, though. It does get a little longer later. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. We've got a couple things we're going to have take over, but we've called into order. I'll make some clarifying remarks for some of y'all that might be here for a particular hearing, but we will start as we always do with the prayer and pledge, and I'll do the bios afterwards, but Jeff Powell will be leading us in our prayer, and Officer Tyler Godsden, did I say it right, Tyler? Godsden? Okay. We'll be doing our Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'd stand with us, please. Y'all come on.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, I thank you and praise you today just for the opportunity to be here. And Lord, I pray that you'd bless our time together tonight. Father, I pray that you'd bless Leslie and the council as they take care of the business for Villa Rica. Lord, I pray that you would guide their hearts and guide their thoughts, Father, that you might receive all the honor, the glory, and the praise. Father, I thank you for those who are elected to serve. And Lord, I pray that you'd bless them, that you'd guide them, that you'd direct them in the way they need to go. Father, we pray that tonight that you will be in charge of the meeting and that everything that's done might bring you honor, glory, and praise. For it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jeff, don't leave yet. You can make a couple of announcements and then you'll do it.
So Jeff Powell, can I call you Pastor?
Let her say
He
a
left.
couple things.
He left.
He slipped out. He's allowed to call me Leslie. Jeff Powell and I, one of our pastors, we spent a little time in Guatemala on a mission trip just this summer, and he kept us safe. Jeff Powell has been married to Donna Powell for 43 plus years, has 2 grown-up sons and 7 grandchildren, has been employed at Villa Rica First Baptist Church for over 16 years, where Jeff is also a member, and has held several positions and is currently mission and discipleship pastor. And Jeff wanted to make sure that I told y'all that he was honored to be here tonight and do the invocation. Officer Tyler Godsden, forgive me, I'll get it, was born in Carrollton, Georgia. Officer Godsden attended Hanley High School in Roanoke, Alabama. After graduation, he became a certified firefighter through the Alabama Fire College, where he spent 2 years as a firefighter in Woodland, Alabama. Officer Godsden was a student at the University of West Georgia, where he served as the bass fishing team president for 2 years and received his bachelor's degree in criminology with a minor in public administration. Officer Godsden was a graduate of the very first basic law enforcement mandate class held at the University of West Georgia. Officer Godsden has been a patrol officer with the Villa Rica Police Department since August of 2023. See, I get an excuse. It's only been a short time. Officer Godsden currently works the night shift in the patrol division on C shift and currently lives in the city of Villa Rica with his dog, Hank. Be safe tonight. Out there working for us. Ceremonial presentations?
Yes, I think the first thing to do would be to have the ceremonial presentation of having the swearing in of Your Honor, as well as Councilman Momtahan and Councilwoman Marchman. And here to do that this evening is one of Villa Rica's native favorite sons, Judge Aubrey Duffy.
Yes.
So, you want to come on down? All right. Yeah, right, there's good.
Leslie McPherson, do solemnly swear that I will well and truly perform the duties of mayor of the city of Villa Rica, Georgia, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and the United States of America. I further swear that I am not the holder of any public money due this state unaccounted for, and that I am not the holder of any office or trust under the government of the United States, or any other state, or any foreign state, which by laws of this state I am prohibited from holding, and that I am otherwise qualified to hold said office according to the Constitution and laws of Georgia, and I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and if elected by the circuit or district that I have been a resident thereof for the time required by the Constitution and laws of this state, so help me God.
I will.
Let me get you to sign this. I guess I'll sign you. Do it.
City clerk. You did the oath.
He can sign it if you want. I just didn't do a signature.
That's not good. Oh, right under here. Okay. And then what's today's date?
January 9th.
9/9. Okay. Very good. You're now the mayor.
Judge, yeah.
Okay.
Do you,
When do we do our family picture?
If you wanna go ahead and do it now.
Since I hear him and I'll get out of the way.
yeah, if you want to get your family up there now, it'd be a good time.
Everybody, I promise. And they come in all ages.
Hi.
Can you get us?
I think that,
43 years, we kind of just feel like each other.
all right, everyone say cheese.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, now if I could have you down here and Shirley Marshman. Okay. I, Matthew Monahan, do solemnly swear that I will well and truly perform the duties of Ward 2 Council of the City of Villa Rica, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America. I further swear that I am not the holder of any public money due this state unaccounted for, and that I am not the holder of any office or trust under the government of the United States or any other state or any foreign state, which by the laws of this state I am prohibited from holding, and that I am otherwise qualified to hold said office according to the Constitution and laws of Georgia, and that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and if elected by any circuit or district that I have been a resident thereof for the time required by the Constitution and laws of this state, so help me God. I will. Okay. Now, I, Shirley Marchman, do solemnly swear that I will well and truly perform the duties of Ward 1 Council of the City of Villa Rica, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and the United States of America. I further swear that I am not the holder of any public money due this state unaccounted for, and that I am not the holder of any office or trust under the government of the United States or any other state or any foreign state, which by the laws of this state I am prohibited from holding, and that I am otherwise qualified to hold this office according to the Constitution of the laws of Georgia, and I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and if elected by the circuit or district that I have been a resident thereof for the time required by the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia, so help me God. Okay, very good. Let me get both of you to sign this.
I'll take that for you, if you want to use that. Y'all want a picture?
Does the mayor sign both of these too? I guess so.
Yes, I'll give those. Do you want a
Okay, very
picture,
good.
or-
Congratulations. Okay, is that it?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, very good.
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Or y'all, okay, go ahead. Perfect, I'll send that, you want, yeah, single, okay. Okay? I'll send this to y'all tomorrow. And I'll send yours to you as tomorrow.
Okay, so something that we need to do just prior to we get into our general meeting will be a Public Facilities Authority meeting agenda. It's very short. We're basically just appointing the officers for the Public Facilities Authority, of which is also us. It's a little bit in the weeds, but it's us.
Yes.
David, do you want to introduce that?
I'll introduce it to the extent that the city of Villa Rica does have a independent authority by the name of the City of Villa Rica Public Facilities Authority. It was created back when the city initiated the construction of the sewer plant here. That was the primary purpose for it, to raise the money in order to build the existing, what we call new, which is not so new, sewer plant. It also will hold other public buildings as an independent authority from the city. The authority officers, the board of directors of the authority, is the mayor and council. So you are the not elected, but you're the appointed members of the Public Facility Authority. It is separate from the city, but it is the same officials. So you need to elect officers for this year.
Okay, and we need to appoint the chairman, the vice chairman, and the secretary for 2024. Okay.
I'll make a motion to appoint the mayor as chairman, Mayor Pro Tem as the vice chairman, city clerk as the secretary for calendar year 2024.
Second.
So Councilman Carter made the motion. Councilman Marchman seconded it. All approve?
Mayor,
Oh, yes.
do we need to suspend the other meeting and go to this meeting? That's what I remember doing other ones.
I don't think she's
Okay.
formally announced which meeting was called to order, so I think we're okay the way we're going.
Okay,
Okay, good.
sorry.
That's okay. Right, yes, so all approve? Anybody opposed? That's unanimous. All right, we also need to, as the public authority, approve the January 2023 minutes.
So approved. So moved.
Councilman Marchman made the motion,
Second.
second by Councilman Carter. All approve? Probably shouldn't say that. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Unanimous. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the question was raised, should the people who were not present at that meeting vote to approve the minutes? If you were not present for that meeting, then simply abstain.
Okay. Also, this was a little last minute. There's a few words missing here, but I also expect that we need to approve the agenda even for this.
At
For
this
the
po-
public
At this
authority?
point, no, because you're at the end of it.
Okay, all right. I'm looking, and it kind of showed up at the last minute, and I don't have that on there, so. Okay, y'all.
This is primarily a formality in order to keep the records of the Public Facility Authority in order, and you've
Okay.
done that.
All right. So we have called to order for that. We are already called to order for our council meeting?
You need to adjourn the Public Facility Authority meeting and then call the other meeting to order again.
Okay. So we will adjourn now as the Public Facilities Authority, and we will adjourn as mayor and council.
Resume, I think. You said adjourn as mayor and council, but you mean like resume.
Yes, resume.
You should.
I'm gonna make a motion, we adjourn the PFA meeting.
I'll
A
second it.
motion, second. Motion by Councilman Carter, second by Councilman Marchman. Yes, Montahan?
Yep.
If it starts with an M, we'll get close. All right.
Call for vote.
And all in favor? Oh, I used to be a councilwoman, I could vote. Anybody opposed? Right. We need to, I need a motion for the adoption of the agenda now for the council meeting.
I move to adopt the agenda for the council meeting.
Councilwoman, or Councilman McCoy, let's make it easy. First, and Councilman Carter seconded. Marchman, yes? Yes. All right, we're going to move into public comment. Let me just mention a few things. Pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor? I did better in the work session. Y'all are just going to have to be patient. I always sat over there. And so we'll get to be a better, well-oiled machine. Before we move into public comment, just to bring up a couple things. There has been one of the items tabled, and we thought about maybe not doing comment on that, but it could still come back. So maybe we'll move something around, Councilman Momtahan, maybe move something around on that particular hearing so people, or
Well-
should we just have them give it during the public comment, do you think?
Well, I think
Okay,
I think, but we just adopted the agenda though, so we would have to amend the agenda
Let's amend the agenda and table the
to
item.
table it.
so maybe should we just move it up the top, you think?
We can, I mean, that's fine.
It's gonna
Okay.
it's gonna get
That's-
tabled anyway.
Yeah, I just don't want, okay, let's amend it, because I just don't want a lot of people staying here for a long time waiting to comment on something that's tabled.
Okay, let me amend the agenda. I'm gonna amend the agenda to table item B4, which is RA-05-23, rezoning from commercial medium density to industrial low density for property located southeast corner of Highway 61 and Whitworth Road. So that'll be tabled to the February 13th meeting.
So,
Second.
we had, I didn't catch the second, but we have a motion to table RA 0523, and the second?
He's over there.
It's me.
Okay, so Councilman Carter made the motion, and Councilman Momtahan to second. And what I'll do is, I won't even announce it from now on, you just let me know if you don't hear it, and then we'll just dispense with all that. Yes, and those in favor? Anyone opposed? It's unanimous. Yeah, hang on 1 second, and let me give an explanation, because I perfectly understand any questions. We did not receive until very late today that the applicant withdrew. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to proceed at some point, but they did not want to be heard tonight. Now, there's a lot of people who probably scheduled time, took the time to show up, and I think we need to allow for those comments. You don't have to. If you know it's going to be tabled and it's not going to be handled tonight, now tabled only means it's tabled for now. It could very well be back before us next month or later. So it is not dead. But if you want to give a comment about it tonight, I still think we ought to allow that. You took your time to be here. But if you're like, no, I'm just going to wait till it's back up, then you know that you can go home right now if that's what you'd like to do with your schedule. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm sorry. We really can't interact with the questions back and forth. Is there someone I can direct her to with her questions?
Well, I think the question is, can you still comment? There is a public comment
Well,
proceeding, and anybody can speak about whatever they want to.
right, and we have a public comment time, and it is true. During that time, everyone can comment about any topic, anything on the agenda or another time. What you will find, because I know there's a lot of people here that are new, so I'll go ahead and explain this, is as we do public comment, we will not engage in back and forth with you. Otherwise, some of y'all might be here all night. We don't have a debate. We don't answer 10 questions. But what we do try to do, because I know what it is to sit out there like you are and have a question you want answered, is try to direct you to a staff member or have you give your name and phone number to the city clerk to have somebody get back to you, because you deserve to have your question answered. I hope that's clear. Okay. Yeah. And if you even want to ask your question during public comment, now while we may not engage back and forth, staff will know what your question is. So what I'll do is I'll begin with the list that I have here, and if you didn't sign in, we prefer that you do, but if you didn't get signed in, it's very busy, you'll still have an opportunity after the people on the list signed in. If for any reason you change your mind and you don't want to because of the item is tabled, that's fine, just say no thank you, and we'll move on to the next name. And as you approach the podium, please give your name and address for the record, please. First person, Amy Brown.
I'm Amy Brown, 143 Autumn Run Place, Villa Rica. I'm a business owner in Villa Rica. My public comment is about the item that has been tabled, but I do want to just address for the council's benefit that this potential business that is asking for the zoning variance or the zoning to be changed, I just want the council to be aware that they have already made a public announcement that they're already coming to Carroll County. They've already spoken with Carroll County and the city of Carrollton. So I just want to make sure that y'all are aware that they seem to be playing their cards the way they want to be played, and I don't want the city of Villa Rica to be played in this. So I'm just letting you know that there's more to this story, so if it comes up again, I want you to address that. Thank you.
Jody Willis.
Hey, congratulations again. My name is Jody Willis. I live at 2273 Carrollton Villa Rica Highway, and I'm here to speak about the motion that was moved anyway again too. But I ask that y'all don't vote that in. The hazard next to our children there in the school. I think there's better areas for that, industrial parks. So I just ask that y'all, when it comes to you, that you don't vote that in for us. I have a granddaughter that goes there, and we own a farm across the road as well. So thank y'all.
I can't read the first name, but I believe the last name, is it Bone? Or Whitworth Road? Ann Bone, okay. Come on up, Ann. Sorry about that.
That's okay. My name is Ann Bone, and I live at 50 Whitworth Road. I spoke before, and I'm going to try to hold myself together to speak again. I went to work for Judge Aubrey Duffy in 1972 when he was the city judge and the city attorney, both at the same time, because he was the only attorney in Villa Rica. So we go back a long way. I live at 50 Whitworth Road, and the property is part of what used to be my family farm at the Grabens and Garrett's. And of course the school is the elementary school at the Raven Garrett Farm. And Jimmy and I are old. We're not going to be here forever. So whatever you do, we're not asking that you do it for us. We're asking that you do it for the community, which has been a farming community. And I know people don't make a lot of fuss about farms anymore, but the community itself, we're all such a close-knit neighborhood, and I thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate it so, so much. I can't imagine putting that in that community with the church, the First United Methodist Church of Villa Rica, the Georgia State Patrol headquarters for Post 4, all of the homes and farms that had been there forever and ever and ever, my whole lifetime, and that's been a while. So I hope you'll not give in to something that I think is questionable at the very best. I won't take up any more time. My sweet friend and neighbor Diane Duncan is next, and her parents bought the property that adjoins the school, adjacent to the school. It was part of the farm too, and it's going to be more important for her than it is for me, except for the children and the future and what you want Villa Rica to be. Thank you.
Diane Duncan.
My name is Diane Duncan. I live at 289 Tyson Road, Villa Rica. I own the property, as we said, that's adjacent to Ithaca Elementary School. My son, my daughter-in-law, and are raising my granddaughter there. She's almost 2 years old. My main concerns are for the effect that this will have on the air quality, as well as additional traffic and noise that it can cause for the area. It's already a busy area anyway. My property backs up to the creek, so that causes me concern for the water quality as well. A facility of this type would also greatly affect property values. I want my granddaughter and the students at Ithaca, as well as other residents, including many elderly, to be able to go outside and enjoy the outside without being concerned about developing breathing issues because of the air quality, having large trucks traveling back and forth up and down the road, and having their peacefulness affected by the additional noise that the facility can produce. So please don't allow this facility to be built here.
Luz Morales.
Hello, my name is Luz Morales. I'm at 106 Legacy Drive in Villa Rica. Unlike those that spoke, I was not born in Villa Rica. I moved to Villa Rica to raise a family. I came here with my husband in 2005, and we came here because it was unlike the Northeast, very suburban and urban in nature. When we came here and we put our children in Ithaca, it was important that they go there because of the environment that surrounded them. Having 20 years in environmental health and safety, this type of facility is going to create risks. It's going to create a lot of permitting issues that I don't think they're going to be able to uphold. As well, having been in human resource for just as long, I don't think they're going to be able to bring the workforce that they need to be within the zone that they have to be within a school zone to properly hire and staff this location. I think that the council should vote against it. We have an industrial park, and we all have plans and dreams for Villa Rica to stay a suburban town. And if you continue to rezone it and putting industry next to residential, it's just going to become nothing more than today what New Jersey, New York, and everything that we've been moving away from is.
Lisa? Last name Hewitt? There you are.
Well, I see that this is typed. My name is Lisa Hewitt. I live at 239 Hendricks Road. This property is adjacent to mine.
where this facility, if they decide to build it or want to build it later on, I know y'all tabled it, it may come up again, it may not. But the whole issue is not to have it turned into industrial in that area. It's bad for the community, it's bad for us personally, because we're next door to it, and there's a lot of runoff from the property itself. I know this has been tabled. We want to know the next time it comes up, not just 2 people that own the property or 4 or 5 that get a letter, but these people in this, some of these people had no idea, the school had no idea there was even considering industrial there. Yeah, there's a little bitty sign at 60 miles an hour coming down 61 highway. You're not going to see that. You'll see it, oh, there's a sign, I wonder what that is. You have to stop and make an effort. We want everybody to be in a good environment. In industrial, there's some property almost to Carrollton on Old Airport Road and 61. It's already zoned industrial. It's a huge piece of property. I know Villa Rica probably would like the income, but you know, we got to live here. Everybody's got to live here and enjoy our community. So we just want y'all to think about that if something like this comes up. That's probably a good place for a park or maybe some additional land for the school, because the school's about overcrowded. And the more housing development in our area that comes, the more children are going to come, because people love children. So just y'all think about that. This comes up again. This is just our input. All right, thank you.
Ronnie? I'm trying to read the last name. Hewitt, too. Okay, sir. Okay, yes, sir. Cecilia Brown.
Good evening. My name is Cecilia Brown. I reside at 122 Tom Nora Place, Villa Rica, Georgia. I too want to speak on the item that was tabled because I don't know next month or whenever it comes up if I'll be available. So I plan for tonight. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it to the Planning and Zoning Committee. I live about 6 minutes from this development. I am personally tied to it as I was an administrator at that school. And I will tell you that being an advocate for children is my life's mission. So there is not many things that will get me out this late on a work night. But my children and our community children, I'll show up every time and stay as long as it takes. And so I would just ask you that if this comes up again, you consider all the factors in place. One is our community, and most importantly, at the core of everything we do is our children and the future that they have there, and safety should never be something that we even consider or risk. And as a council, obviously, there have been months that we have all read disagreement, but we're in a new year. It's a great time. It's a very unique opportunity that you have to unanimously say, this community can trust in this mayor and city council. We don't risk our children for any amount of money or any rezoning. Our kids are first. Thank you.
Laura Harris.
Hi, good evening. I'm Laura Harris, and I reside at 155 Boyd Road. I also am a lifelong resident of Villa Rica, and I used to live at 125 Boyd Road, both of which are within about 1 mile of a crow flying of the property that you're discussing here. I have great concern from a family standpoint and from a homeowner standpoint, and really more so about the legacy that I get to leave to my own family, that this property that I live on, being 1 mile from this, is very important to me. And the fact that it is a place that is of harmony and safety. I do have concerns about the environmental impact that might happen to the area, and there's just so many things that have not been clear, questions that have not been completely answered that I would like to pursue, and I just have concerns that not just for the people that live within our area. I know we have many family and friends that are around us in our community, but also for the people we leave that to, my own children, their own children. And if we begin to start allowing a rezoning of industrial of this nature in that particular area, what will that lead to? Is that going to continue? And it just is something that is a burden in my heart. I also would like to mention the fact that I am a teacher at Ithaca Elementary School. And when I think about what makes our school special is the fact that it's like a safe haven in so many ways. And part of that is the physical location of our school. And it is a place that we intend to keep safe, our children safe. And I do have concerns about having so many people there at the in such a close proximity that are coming and going throughout the day. That also the traffic that it brings in. And when I think about the events that we hold and the special moments we have with our kids where they're growing and learning on that property, how much that will impact, and it will greatly impact. I assure you that. So if you could just consider those multitude of things that I've mentioned here, along with so many other people that are so much better spoken than I am up here. But just please help us protect what we have in that area. And much like my mother has always taught me, there is a place for everything, so we should put things in their place and just invite them to our industrial area. If that's where they want to be here, that's wonderful, but that's the place for it. Thank you so much.
Charlotte Evans.
I'll wait until later.
So it's for a specific hearing? Okay.
If Josh can take my place.
Now or later?
Now.
If it would be now for anything that's general in topic, if it's just to a specific hearing, you would wait for the hearing, if you can.
No, go ahead.
But if it's a general topic, now's the time to go.
Yes.
Okay. And a general topic really can be anything.
Joshua Evans, 640 Cleveland Street, Villa Rica, Georgia. Been here 44 years, a lifetime at school here. Hate to see this town be tore apart by an industrial facility that is wanting to come here and destroy homes and farms and waterways. I could tell you, U.S. steel and chemical industry, if you ain't very familiar with it, you might want to look it up. But you can look that up by what these folks are telling you. It's going to pollute your air. It's going to kill your fish, your wildlife habitat. It's going to destroy that creek, streams, and river over there. Now, I'm a smart man, but that just seems like that ain't worth it to me. 1948, the U.S. Federal Water Pollution Control Act was passed. 1970, Richard Nixon passed to start EPA. 1972, William Bill Ruckelshaus, he was over it. He had 11 agencies. Within days, 3 states got letters. They got letters because the Cuyahoga River in 1969 caught a fire from a steel plant, just like what they're telling you. Smelter and aluminum and steel. Caught a fire. They said, we got to do something. We got to clean this stuff up. Ruckelshaus sent out 3 letters to 3 different states: Atlanta, Georgia, Detroit, Michigan, and Cleveland, Ohio. They're still on them today. All 3 states, they're still on them about their rivers today. The Chattahoochee, that's not going nowhere, and they're still on us every day. I mean, right here. Villa Rica says that these creeks and streams around here, that they'll keep it where human consumption and wildlife. That ain't gonna pass for that. Promise you it won't. So that's your creeks and streams in Villa Rica. You might want to start cleaning them. We might want to look at that in the future. The future of our creeks and streams and waters. What you gonna drink when ain't no water in that lake over there to drink? Because it's filled full of sediment or trash. Y'all gonna buy water for the rest of your life out of bottles? I mean, there's no reason to have a treatment plant at that point, correct? We gotta do something. We better start quick.
Thank you. Last name Willis Brion?
I don't have any comment. I thought you decided.
Oh, okay. Nanette Lee. Those cost a lot of money. Nanette Lee. Okay. And for any of y'all standing, just realize I know that after we finish public comment, there's usually always some people that need to go home. We'll probably have a little break there while we have a mass exodus. I'm sure there's some teachers that got more work to do and be back at school tomorrow.
First of all, thank you for inviting me here. I do want to congratulate the citizens of Villa Rica. Sorry, can you hear me better?
That's much better.
Miss Peg, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here. My name is Nanette Lee. My address is 6922 Springwood Drive in Douglasville. And I will say we have seen already what you are all going through, so do take this seriously. I would like to congratulate you all on a very fine new mayor that you have. Her integrity is beyond imagination. Her dedication don't make me blush, I've never done this before. Her dedication to the citizens, to the community, and to all the small businesses in Villa Rica is to be congratulated as well. She does live and work by that motto, we the people, for the people, by the people. And if I may approach, I have something for you.
Making sure it's not tomatoes.
Oh, gosh. He would have caught me at the door. Okay, first of all, you are fishing.
Oh, a name tag. I was waiting for that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
better late than never. And then to put your new business cards in.
I'll get this done later. Oh, well, thank you.
And this is on behalf of the citizens of Villa Rica.
This is a little bit unusual, but I think somebody had something to do with some of this happening this evening.
It is unusual. Like I said, I've never done this before. But we are presenting you with your new gavel.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very sweet.
Y'all be good to her, and I promise you, she will be good to you.
Goodness gracious. That's great. Whew, okay, that was a different type of public comment. Rich Myberg.
Rich Myberg, 58 Legend Drive, Villa Rica, Georgia. My comments will be about the tabled motion, B4. I don't know if everybody is aware that the Planning and Zoning Commission has met on that 2 times, and both times asked that it not be passed through the council. And there were many reasons. The last speaker that we had in opposition was the principal of Ithaca School, who was just brilliant in his summation. But what the buildings that they're planning to put in are 2 large buildings. One is to anodize aluminum. To anodize aluminum, you use sulfuric acid in an electrostatic bath. I don't want a lot of sulfuric acid close to my home or close to a school. It's pretty scary. They say they're going to filter this, filter that. Yes. And they also say the traffic won't be a problem because they'll get the state to put in a new crossing so that there are 6 to 8 trucks a day, 18-wheelers, will not affect the traffic. If anybody knows the traffic in that area, it's a mess now. Add 6 to 8. The most annoying part of it was there's a second building, and they could not tell the P&Z people who was going to go into that building and what their purpose was, how many trucks they were going to have. We have no idea what was going on there. And again, the P&Z people have turned down that request. It goes to the council, which can override. And if you've seen the video of the last couple of meetings where public comments were totally negative on changing the zoning for this problem, everybody here would like to have a big industrial park somewhere in Villa Rica to bring in income and bring in jobs, but not in that piece of land next to the school with danger to water. Another thing that they didn't mention was they're coming in rolls, in small pieces to anodize. And they say, well, we're not going to be cutting it, but it's been cut somewhere else, and there's going to be some aluminum dust. If you look it up, aluminum dust is very flammable. We don't need that kind of risk close to our children and close to our homes. I have 50 seconds, which is amazing because I usually can go for 2 hours. But I request that the council review. I request that the council review the minutes of the last two P&Z meetings regarding this for all the public comments. There were quite a few. Thank you for your time, and let's keep our fingers crossed.
Doug Lang.
Excuse me. Doug Lang, 262 South Carroll Road, Villa Rica. My comments are going to be more some things that were covered during the work session that a lot of the people here probably may not be, a couple things that were covered during the work session, if I understood them correctly, that the residents that are here and have concerns may not be aware of. There's been plenty said about the water and the safety and so forth, so I won't talk about that. But two things that came up that struck me today is, one, during P&Z, there's a 100,000 square foot building and a 92,000 square foot building, and all during the two P&Z hearings, the applicant was very clear that they were going to occupy the 100,000 square foot building, and the 92,000 square foot building would be built later on for a different company, and that they would rent that, but they couldn't say to who they would, what type of company they would rent that to. So there was no idea, like people have mentioned, like the volume, other toxicities, or something like that. Today, during today's meeting, the work session meeting, staff mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing, staff mentioned that the 100,000 square foot building was going to be for the applicant, and the 92,000 square foot building would be for future growth. Now, staff didn't use the term future growth, but they said they certainly implied that it was for the same company and not that it was for an unknown entity. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I'm not sure if the applicants changed their mind. I'm not sure if staff misunderstood, or I'm not sure if they're being disingenuous in some way. So there's that. I'm sorry, I forgot what my second item was. I'm going to have to forego my time. Well, I'm sorry. If I think about it, maybe I can get another minute. But the building is a concern, and thank you. Sorry, folks, for the other item that I'm missing.
Max Wallace.
I'm Max Wallace, 107 McCurdy Road, Villa Rica, Georgia. I just oppose the new business that's been proposed to go into that area. I think it should stay for the community, and I was born and raised in the community, and there's a place for business. There's a place for businesses, you know.
There you go.
But
there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good comments, but I stand for the multitude of the community rather than one business. They can find them a place somewhere else. We can get income somewhere else. So I'm against it and hope it's voted down. Thank you.
All right, that's everyone I have on the list, but there may be someone else that is here tonight that wanted to speak with a public comment, could be on a different item. Is there anyone else? And when I do motion for you to pull the microphone down, even though we may hear, there's a lot of people that watch this either online or watch it at a later time, so it's really important that we pick it up for anybody that's watching on video. So that's why we're a little bit of a stickler on being able to hear you well.
Lawrence Donald Coors, 115 Maple Valley Drive, Villa Rica, Georgia. I would ask that you please ask Mr. Barber to give us another explanation of consent agenda item number 1, as it was explained to the council this afternoon in the meeting. There were only 2 of us, I believe, from the public that were available to hear this, and it was very enlightening. And it's very much on topic for all the people who have come before me. I would also like to ask the people who have come before me this one simple question. If not this, then what? Because if you're not going to have industrial being permitted in this area, the current zoning is commercial 2, which will allow you to have many types of other businesses who have a lot of noise, and it's usually around the automobile. And it will probably be 24 hours a day, and it will have lights. And it may not have camera or action, but it will have lights. And you want to sleep. And you're going to have to put up your own blinds in your own room, in your own home, in order to have peace and quiet. There's a big change coming to you in this corridor. The council, I believe you all do know this, as well as some of the people here in the community, and we do need to have it better explained how the leadership in the county, on all the governmental levels and in the city, how this plans to be addressed. I would recommend that you take consent item number 1 off of consent and allow it to be discussed and then voted on. Thank you.
Anyone else? Last call. Oh, and did I make it? Yes, name and address
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
record.
My name is Natalie Harris. I live at 155 Boyd Road. My mom came up here earlier to speak on this. I feel I wasn't really prepared for this, to be honest with you. Just kind of felt a calling. My life is right there. I mean, I went to Ithaca. I was a student. I played on those playgrounds. I have made my way around that school. Especially with my mom working there, I had been there pretty much all the time. I mean, my mom works there all the time. So, sorry, a little bit nervous. I think that this will not be beneficial to this area. I think that by putting it there, I mean, everybody's spoken about how it's going to, pollute the land and such, which is true, it will. But I also believe that it's going to put those kids' lives in danger. And me being one of those kids that had gone to that school and had played on those playgrounds, I don't think that, if I had known that that was going to be there at that age, I don't think that that would have been a decision that my parents would have made for me to go to that school. And that's not fair to that school, because that is a wonderful school. And I don't think that environmental danger should be a factor in your kid's education. I think that, I don't know, there's a pool there, and I get a sign and a feeling that this is not where this is supposed to be. Like my mom said, everything has a place and everything should be put in its place. I think that the industrial park is a wonderful place to put this. There's definitely space to put it there. And that's too dangerous for children. I think that first and foremost, if we want this city to progress further than how it is now and to stay consistent with the times, I think that we shouldn't be looking at how putting that building there is going to affect. I think that we should be looking at our children, because children are the future. And I think that endangering those children is going to potentially endanger I don't know. It's just not a good idea. And I think that coming up here and making this stand, I hope that from a student standpoint, that it will make a difference somehow. I know that this is not the meeting for that, and I will be back in February. Thank you.
You did fine.
Change of plans. Charlotte Evans, 640 Clearview Street.
I'm actually at the very end of the list. It's actually the speed limit change for, time got to start. You're good. I just didn't want to go over and be unfair. The speed limit change on Clearview Street to 15, I believe that's a wonderful idea, adding on to the speed bumps that are already in place, which are working beautifully. So much different than when I came for the first time in May. It was, yes, there's still some that speed up and down and try to jump the bumps, but it has made a difference. You know, I'm not as concerned about my kids playing out in the front yard, the elderly that do live on this street walking, because in that little area where those 3 sets are, that's where the main danger is. But the speed limit, changing it to 15, I think that would be even better, because then it's like, all right, that's 10 miles difference. So at, 10 miles, that's a pretty sizable ticket. And especially if you add in that this can be a school zone if all we got to have is signs. Because South Street, Meadowlark Drive, and Clearview Street basically is a school zone, not just Rocky Branch. I would actually put speed humps in at South Street and lower their speed limit, because the ones that are still wanting to speed up and down the street are now going to South Street. So I think a speed limit change on all 3 of these streets and then some more speed bumps, I think that would be a great idea. It keeps not just the residents there safe, it also keeps the kids safe. If they happen to go over the speed hump a little too fast, then that's on them and their parents to take care of their car. You shouldn't be speeding over it. One of the first things you learn as a kid when you're driving, get your learner's permit. You don't go over those speed humps. That causes problems with your car. It knocks it out of alignment. That's not on you guys. That's not on the residents. That's on that child making the decision to speed over that bump. So I think we should lower the speed limit, and then also look at Meadowlark Drive and South Street. And get the same things implemented. Even if you have to do a study, they're doing the same thing on South Street. So, and on Rocky Branch. So anywhere around that school, I believe, speed, it's some kind of speed something, because it's just outrageous all over the place, not just my street. So thank you for your time.
Anyone else? Public comment?
My name is Amir Cosby, to 19 Sycamore Lane, and this is less on the Whitworth issue and more of a general discussion question, but I've lived and was born in Billerica my whole life, and I feel that the youth's voice, especially in this room right here, doesn't get heard enough. And I believe the blatant gentrification and industrialization of Billerica is inevitable, really. But how it's going right now isn't really what we want for the future. There's blatant and clear areas for the industrial complex to go. Industrial Boulevard is one where Flowers is. We can put them over there. Right now, what's happening, it's unplanned and it's messy. Billerica is going to be much more in the future, and where it's going right now is not a place where we can have it. As residents of Billerica, we all want the best for our city. And how it's going right now, it's not going to be the best. Right now, it's going to be mediocre. Right now, what we need is a solid plan for moving forward, and we don't have that right now. We're unorganized. So what I came up here to say is that I'm related closely to the Darden Street issue. Some of you may remember, where they tried to remove some of us, not remove per se, but remove some of us from where we are. And I grew up there. I grew up in Billerica. I grew up in that neighborhood, and that is where we grew up in. And they tried to replace us with a road. And that road is not who we are. That is not our community. We are Billerica. We are not mere numbers. We are not economic profit. We are the people of Billerica. And so what we need right now is some change for the better. We need actual plans for the future. We need plans drawn, things considered. We are not going to stop the sudden increase in population that we are getting. That in itself is inevitable. So what I want to say right now is just look forward to the future. I may be young and I may not know much, but the future is going to come nevertheless. And unless we prepare for the future, then what else are we going to do? We're just going to be stuck in the past like the city has been for the past 50 years. And now that the winds of change are finally coming to Villa Rica, I feel that instead of trying to fight it, we should really, really, truly embrace it. Thank you. That'll be all.
Anyone else for public comment? State your name and address for the record. And don't forget. I can say it's okay. Just kidding.
My name is Elizabeth Ron. I live at 30 Wentworth Court in Villa Rica. My comment is a little bit off topic from the planning and zoning specifically, and more directed towards some of the issues leading up to the election of a new mayor. And I believe that people should honor their word, because that, I believe, is everything in the integrity of a person. And this is a statement was made by Tom Barber that he would be leaving his position if the new mayor was elected. And I hope that there is going to be some kind of information following that statement, because if you are going to make that you will find new employment elsewhere. I'm sure that there are plenty of jobs available, and the internet seems like a good place to start. But if you could maybe enlighten some people on that, to make a statement so bold should be followed up on, I believe. And that's just my opinion. So that's all.
Is there anyone else? At this time, we'll go ahead and close public comment and move on to council updates. Do any of our council members have any special concerns or updates you'd like to give?
I was going to
Yes.
say, in an effort to be transparent, isn't the person who just spoke related to you, or am I wrong?
No, that's a
Okay,
relative,
I
yes.
just wanted everybody to be transparent in case they didn't know that, but I assume everyone in here did. It is public comment, but I was just being transparent.
Okay. All right, any other council updates? Let's give a minute, and so we don't interrupt as we go into the consent agenda. I know there's some people that are going to leave during this time, so let's just pause for a minute. And those of you that are standing up for so long, you can find a seat. Thank you for coming. We've had a great turnout of people, and I think we've also seen the way a representative government works when people can come up and have their say. So thank you to those of you that gave comment. Thanks for coming. Hey, you made it. How you feeling? Oh.
Hey, Rich.
You have a good tomorrow. Hey Anna, how you doing?
I didn't get to say maybe Diane's mother had to go into the city for the school to be in the city.
Diane. Diane. Oh, okay.
Her mother was saying this. And the only way the school could be in the city was for her mother to be in the city.
Oh, okay.
So this would be a whole different picture.
All right. You take it.
I could hand something to you. Okay. Okay, it's about time to settle back down. I know we've used quite a bit of time, but this is part of what a representative government is it not? You elect people, and when people want to speak and have their say, they need to be able to say it and give their comments, and we need to be able to hear it. So I appreciate all the people that gave public comment, but I know some of y'all, I don't want it to be too late of a night for you, so we'll try to move reasonably but responsibly through the rest of the thing, hopefully not drag things out. Okay, we do have a consent agenda, and I will go ahead and read the items that we put on this, and what they are, for anyone that's new, because I know we have new people. It's a single item that I just quit. All the things that the city council would normally approve with little comment. In other words, they don't tend to be highly controversial or involve a lot of money, that if they're put on the consent agenda. Each of these items was discussed during the council work session earlier today, and it was unanimous consent of the governing body to place the following items on the consent agenda. It has to be unanimous. If even one council person does not want an item put on the consent agenda, it does not go there, and it moves forward to tonight. So we vote on these things as one package. So I will read them off unless there is any council person that wants to alter this agenda at all. Okay, item number 1, appointment to Joint City School Board Committee. Item number 2, appointment of Ward 5 Planning and Zoning Commissioner. Item number 3, abandonment of transfer of Walnut Drive to Villa Rica Housing Authority. Number 4, Armis renewal. Number 5, appointment and reappointment members to Library Advisory Board. Number 6, repave Connors Road cart path. Number 7, repair sidewalk at Hickstown Brewery. Number 8, repair of Reed Plantation sidewalks. Number 9, Stone Street paving project. Number 10, repairs of parking lot at World Changers. Number 11, mini excavator purchase. Number 12, Lake Paradise Dam renovation. Number 13, FY24 budget amendments, number 169 through 237. Number 14, development agreement with Old Stone Road Residential LLC. Number 15, development agreement for Connors Landing Lift Station. Number 16, development agreement for Northwoods at Mirror Lakes Phase 3 Lift Station. Number 17, Sandra Morris, grant writer. Number 18, for BM&K to modify their engineering plans to accommodate a traffic light at the intersection of Villa Rica Parkway and Cleghorn Street. And number 19, a survey of Powell Park and Gold Dust Park. So we'll now move to the governing body.
Wait a minute. I
Oh,
move
yes.
to adopt the consent agenda.
I'm sorry, yes. So motion to adopt the consent agenda. Councilman Carter made the motion.
Monahan, seconded.
Councilman Marchman, yes, is the second.
Call for a vote.
Right, we'll move to, I'm so sorry. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That's unanimous. I'm usually voting, not asking for the vote. Thank you. All right, so we'll move to item A, governing body. Selection of Mayor Pro Tem for 2024.
Mayor, I make a motion to select Danny Carter, Councilman Danny Carter, as Mayor Pro Tem for 2024.
Okay, a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman McCoy. All in favor? Anyone opposed? It's unanimous. All right, approval of the December 12, 2023 work session and council meeting minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Marchman.
Second.
Councilman McCoy. And 3, approval of the, I'm sorry, all in favor? Anyone opposed?
Oh, I'm in favor. I'm sorry.
Okay. And I know sometimes someone might abstain if they actually weren't there for the meeting. And then approval of December 19 special called meeting minutes. 19. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous. All right, community development. Tracy Jarvis is the director, but the presentation is by Nairi Simpson. She's our licensing specialist.
Good evening, Mayor McPherson and council members. I am here on behalf of Community Development Department to present an application presented by Affinity Golf Partners LLC, doing business as Bobby Jones Links. This application is for approval for pouring license for a private club, which they're asking the city of Villa Rica to grant. The background is basically Mirror Lake Golf Club, located at 1000 Cannon Gate Parkway, of course, in Villa Rica, Georgia. The prior owner, Sequoia Golf LLC, operating and doing business as Mirror Lake Golf Club, has sold the club to SG Chapel Hills LLC. In turn, or in favor, SG Chapel Hills LLC, let me go back, not in favor. As a result of the sale, SG Chapel Hills LLC contracted with the professional golf club management company known as Affinity Golf Partners LLC, doing business as Bobby Jones Links. And so because of the change of ownership, it is a requirement that council approves the application before it is granted, approve the application before it's granted for a pouring license. As discussed in the work session earlier this afternoon, the club and the license will still operate as it has in the past, but the basis of this application is for the new owners.
Any questions from council members? I know we covered this to a degree during the work session. This does have a public hearing.
Yes. Yeah, generally, you're going to ask for the applicant if they're going to make a presentation.
So is the applicant here?
Yes.
Okay.
You want them to come up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on up.
We weren't prepared to make a presentation.
You need to at least introduce
don't?
yourself.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm Nicole Brook. I'm the CFO of Bobby Jones Links, and I'm not located in Villa Rica. I'm located in Alpharetta. And I'm joined by...
My name is Scott Bester. I am the general manager over at Mirror Lake, and I too am not a resident of Villa Rica.
And our city attorney has a few things to say.
Which I'll say after the public hearing. We'll see if there's any comments, and then I'll preach my sermon.
Okay, so now if y'all want to step aside, and then he'll address a brief comment with you after the hearing. If there's anyone that would like to speak for or against this item, now is the time. No takers? Okay, we'll move on.
The next one.
Well, if you don't have anything else, then
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I should have
Go
kept
back
you
up
up
for a
here.
second.
That's okay.
Yeah, y'all get a part of what is our tradition here in the city of Villa Rica whenever anybody applies for a permit to sell alcoholic beverages, and that is to say that City of Villa Rica takes very seriously that we're not having anybody in town selling alcohol to underage people, to minors. And the question I ask everybody is that whether you fully understand what the rules are and whether or not you are going to take steps to prevent people, underage people, from drinking alcoholic beverages out at your golf club.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yes, we take it very seriously. We have a system in place that we actually train all of our individuals that are serving alcohol to go through a process. And we also have our general manager here who can also speak on it.
Yes, everybody goes through a process to make sure that they are aware of what it takes. Obviously, in an environment that is family friendly, we certainly understand that. And again, we've got members that don't reside here, so they do drive, so we fully understand the severity of that. And it is important for all of us as well to make sure that everybody's safe, not only internally but externally.
And then the one part I did forget is to give you a heads up is that our police department has been charged with periodically going out and testing everybody's commitment in that regard. We recently had one of those testing periods, and we had a number of folks that didn't pass, so just ask you not to be one of them in the future.
Now, we welcome them to come
Right.
on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nairi, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Am I ready for the next one?
No.
Yes, ma'am.
You need a motion.
I have a
whether to
motion.
approve it.
Oh, I apologize. I move to approve.
No, that's us. That's us.
not for you.
It's
guys.
me. No,
That-
you're
that
good.
would be
You're
for
good.
me. I move,
Motion, please.
I move to approve the request for an alcohol license permit for the business of Affinity Golf Partners LLC doing business as Bobby Jones Links.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Got him. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, 4-1. Got it? Yeah, 4-1. She's got it. Okay, Nairi,
Okay.
next.
Next, the second application is for Mr. Saeed Sadat. He is present. SI Management Incorporated, doing business as Corner Store, has submitted an application for approval to offer retail sales of packaged beer, malt beverages, and wine at the address known as 197 Commerce Drive in Villa Rica. And he is the previous owner of the Chevron located at 157 Commerce Drive, so he is familiar with alcohol ordinances and the responsibilities of holding an alcohol license as well as a business license.
All right. Do we want to do a hearing or let's hear?
The applicant first.
Yeah. Let's hear from the applicant first, please.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name is Syed Sadat. I don't live in Villa Rica, but I'm doing business in Villa Rica since 2018, so I feel a part of the city. Thank you.
I guess I'll ask the question now. Then you've already been operating here, so you know the routine that the police are going to show up occasionally with
Yes, sir.
a young-looking person there, and you can always check to make sure that people are legal before they buy beer and wine, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Chief back there, this Chief. This store wasn't involved in the last operation, was it? I don't. Which
The
store you
corner
currently-
store?
Chevron, right on the exit.
Commerce.
Next to Hardee's.
Yes, sir.
He's not the
Was
current
it?
license.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, so it didn't involve you, but it was a prior one, and that's the risk, because they will send out young people. My son worked for Publix at a very young age, and Publix used to use him as one of those young people to send to stores to make sure they were not selling to minors, and it's a big deal in Villa Rica, so we appreciate the training that will go into your employees. Okay, so let's see if there's anyone, if you want to step aside. If there's anyone that would like to speak for or against this item. There's always a public hearing when it involves alcohol and alcohol licenses. No one? Okay.
I have a motion.
Right.
If Nyrie's okay with this,
You can take it.
okay, thank you. I move to approve the request for an alcohol license permit for the business of SI Management Incorporated, doing business as Corner Store.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, a second? Carter and McCoy, first and second. Right. The vote in favor? Oppose? 4-1?
3-2.
Oh, excuse me. Hands again. Okay, 4? Approve? 3. Oppose? Okay. Sorry, I missed that. 3-2. All right, Nairi. That's it. Thank you. Finance, Jennifer. Oh. No. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, the sign ordinance. I had it circled. I'm still operating off an agenda that is not totally up to date. Apologize. My hard copy that I printed out myself with notes. This is VA 1623 variance request from section 9.152 of the Villa Rica sign ordinance, 123 Connors Road.
Now, we were going to get some information back from city attorney.
Yeah, and we were looking for an update on this from the work session. Hang on, Sean.
Yeah.
Are you going to cover that?
Sean and I both met with the applicant this evening and explained to them that what they're missing is a surveyor certificate, because if you look in the application, the measurements they have in the application, if those are accurate, then they don't need a variance. They don't have that. They may be able to get it fairly quickly, but I think since they're here, they wanted to go ahead and proceed with their application. You wanted to proceed, correct? Okay. But they want to go ahead and proceed with the variance request. If the measurements are accurate, then they're compliant. What the situation is where the sign is located is below road grade.
Mhm.
So they're allowed to bring the base of the sign up level with the street before you measure the total height of the sign. So and the maximum height of a sign can be 8 feet in their situation. So their sign's more than 8 feet if you measured from the ground. But if you measure from the level of the street, according to their application, which is right behind you, that would be 8 feet tall. We just don't, the only thing missing is a surveyor's certificate.
Should we go ahead with this without the surveyor's certificate, though? Because we'd be approving something we don't know anything about.
And I don't know how complicated that is to get, but has this information been clearly explained to Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Recently.
Recently?
Very recently.
Okay.
When Brian left, I took over and looked at the application myself. This was probably going into the weekend and let staff know my position on that. So they're just hearing about that, so they're kind of scrambling to get that information together. But this is what's holding them up from getting a CO.
Yeah, and that's a big deal if your business can't operate. You need the CO to open, and you're losing money when you can't open. So whatever, I mean, y'all have to make the choice of which way to go. Have y'all communicated between? Okay, are y'all ready to give a type of presentation on this? Because you want to go ahead with the variance? Well, And I know Sean's going to say something and set the stage for you, but are y'all ready to proceed this evening with requesting a variance, even though you might not? It sounds like if you have a survey, you won't need the variance. I just want to make sure that's absolutely clear to y'all so you know the decision you're making.
Correct. And if I can approach Mayor, Gabrielle Smith, my husband and I, Gary Smith, are the owners of the Ultimate Express Car Wash up here in Mirror Lake that we're building. So yes, Mayor, the decision was to proceed because we were just made aware of this request to provide a surveyor certificate just this afternoon, right before this meeting. And that would have been an artifact if we would have known about it in advance last month when we were first made aware by Ronald Johnson's office that the current sign is just a little too high. Of what can we do to showcase, prove that we followed ordinance requirements, we did the due diligence, and we were not advised of that particular article that we could have produced in early December to not even be here today. The only option we were told of, we need to file a variance because it's a little too high. So when we're talking about this is needed for us to open, right, to open the car wash, and that the next hearing would not be until February, we raced to get everything filed to be here today. So while I understand that the news we were just informed, and I appreciate the attorney and Mr. Daniels advising us of that, we didn't want to also miss the opportunity of being here to convey the importance, convey to everybody all the efforts we followed to ensure our adherence to the ordinance before we designed the sign. And I outlined that there was approximately about 18 different emails with the Ronald Johnson's department to ensure this sign is going to be right. We are investing a significant amount in the construction in the community to build this, so we definitely didn't want to face hearing at the last minute, oh, we have a problem with the sign. So my husband and I, this whole construction team, it's important that we do this right. We don't have bandwidth to miss it. Just with construction delays that I'm sure we've all faced in other areas, we didn't want to be here at the end of the road hearing your sign is a little too high, you can't open, right? So we did that due diligence to avoid that, got the blessing, plans look good, sign is in alignment with it. We built it, it was installed in August, and it was the 1st of December that we heard that Mr. Johnson rode by and thought the sign looked a little too high. So we're here to say, no, where is it? Because we were allowed, according to the attorney's explanation, because that particular section of the land sits in a hole. And we were allowed, according to ordinance, to bring it up to street level, to road level, and then build above there. We actually wanted more signage to make it more appealing to the community. We invested a lot of time in making this facility to be really nice and wanted to have a nicer sign. We reduced the sign to say, well, if we're allowed to bring it up, let's not make the signage itself so large. Let's bring the sign down to 6.5 from the original design, and let's go from there. And it was then installed, and it was at the last minute here in December when we were working to get to open that we learned of this issue.
Okay, so let's do this with staff, and I saw Tracy a second ago. Where'd Tracy go? Do y'all need to communicate we can move to finance. Are we ready to do this? I just want to make sure people are ready. Sean will come up, give a little bit of a presentation. And I just want to make sure we're moving forward and you don't look back and go, oh, I wish we'd done it differently because we learned so late in the matter. So,
yeah.
And I didn't know if Tracy.
I got a question, Mayor, if it's okay.
Yeah, if y'all want to step aside
sure.
or even have a seat on that front row if you want, whatever works.
Sure.
And let's have staff go ahead and give their presentation. And if there's anything y'all need to work out, we've done this before in the foyer if somebody wasn't clear on anything.
Let me get a question in here right quick. It might save a little bit of time. Is if they produce a certificate, they don't even have to apply for a variance, is that correct? So if we table this thing and then they produce a certificate to you, then staff can handle it at the city hall level, and it doesn't have to come back before us. There won't be a variance
I
request.
think that's right, but then, from what I'm hearing, time is of the essence to them.
Yes, but without a certificate, I would have to vote no on it, because, there's nothing to look at. I don't see the certificate tells me that it's within.
Well, let me suggest this, Mr. Carter. I mean, essentially, they're going to get 2 bites at the apple here if they want it. They can go ahead and present the variance tonight, and if y'all approve the variance, they're good.
Okay.
You turn it down, and they come in and bring in the
We don't
survey
have
later, it's still
access to the
good.
certificate, though. We don't get to see that. You said it requires a certificate.
But we won't need
No.
to with the variance.
We need the certificate to determine if they can do it without a variance. You can still approve a variance without the certificate anyway. So
Okay.
I'm really saying they get 2 bites at the apple here. You can approve it tonight if it sounds good to you, and you can deny it tonight if you want to, but if they bring in a certificate in a week, they're still good.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And I hate to delay them any more than we have to,
Let's just-
you know.
let's
I know
just get
y'all,
these folks home.
this all started during COVID, and you've been fit to be tied for a couple of years almost. Sean, Tracy, do you? Yes.
Have a really quick question. I actually agree with the mayor on this. I don't want to hold y'all up. What are we looking at? If I'm looking at it, it looks like the brick is 58 inches and the other one, that's 48, then they have the little thing on top of it. But how much are we looking at over the 8 feet variance?
So if you look at these pictures behind you here, and the top of the sign is over 96 inches, which is allowable, but it's allowable to be higher if the crown of the street is up above that. And so their sign's only 18 inches higher than the 96 inches. But as you can see plainly from this street shot
Here's
right
at least
here,
18 inches.
yeah, they're
of-
not even up to 96 inches above the crown of the street with the top of their sign. So they're in compliance. The only missing part that we had is verification from a surveyor that says that.
And that's the
But
part I
that's
had,
a-
So
that's the
if
part
we-
I had trouble with.
You're right.
So if we approve this variance, we're looking at a difference of like a foot. This isn't like, or 2 feet max. This isn't like this is a 20-foot, instead of
Oh, no,
8
no,
feet,
no.
they're going 20
No.
feet or anything.
No,
So-
that's correct.
So we're looking at a 2-foot difference, basically, that could, in theory, be
18
taken.
inch, a foot and a half.
Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
I'd like to point out too that they did do their due diligence. They went to surrounding businesses to make sure that there was no issue as far as the businesses around them. And I speak from, I'm a business owner as well and have had to go through those same exact city ordinances to get my sign. So I completely understand and understand that time is of the essence as well. But I just wanted to point out that you guys did do your due diligence as far as making sure that surrounding businesses were okay with those, 18 inches we said. So I just wanted to point that out.
Mayor, if I may say, I think we kind of see where we're going on this, but we just need to have the public hearing and then we can get these folks home with an approval, hopefully.
Y'all don't have anything? I'm perfectly willing to move along.
Sean's been working closely with the client.
Just to piggyback, alluding on what everybody else is saying, really, it just came down to if they can provide a surveying certificate. As from what our standpoint is, we can actually see that it is in our ordinance, our sign ordinance. It's just that they have to have a professional go out there and actually see it. But I mean, I'll have to say that it'll have to be up to the council.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, we need to have a public hearing. Is there anyone that wants to speak for or against this variance? Come up to the microphone, please. Name and address for the record, please. Yeah, just get that down. There you go.
I'm a little short.
That's okay.
My name's Elaine Steer, and the only
I happen to be adjacent to his lot. I am New Hope Cemetery. And I have seen the sign. There is nothing, you don't even realize it's out of place. He has made one of the most beautiful car washes that I have ever seen. I mean, I'm serious. They have even landscaped it with palm trees. You've got to see this. And if you haven't seen it, please go and see what a good-looking place it is going to be. I just could not believe it. I'm thinking now, I'm talking to him about maybe helping me with some weeds when he's busy. But the only bad thing about the whole thing of rejoicing tonight is the fact that he's got competition around the corner about 3 blocks. So, yeah. But this is going to be elegant. And he's taken the thought of people who are handicapped. He's got even a place where your car can be done for you. So you don't know what's ahead, folks, but it's going to be good. And I thank you for putting up with me. I was trying to think of what number we have for Old Liberty Road, but I don't think we have one over there. They don't get much mail.
Don't forget to give her a free car wash. That was good. Okay, anyone else for or against? It's impressive, and I was at your groundbreaking, and I will say that the family business, everybody there, y'all are truly a family business, and it was impressive to have everybody involved. Okay, so we need to have a motion on, a motion, which can be approval or denial, but we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the request from Gary and Gabrielle Smith from section 9.152 as presented by staff.
We have a motion, and we have a second. Mom to hand, Marchman.
M&M.
And all in favor? 5. It's unanimous. All
You get
four.
a free car wash too.
It's a very pretty car wash.
It is. It's nice. I've been by there. It's really
Okay.
We actually watched that thing get put together and keep waiting and waiting and waiting because we had to go all the way across the other side of Villa Rica to get our car washed. So
We're ready to open. That's another reason why we wanted to be here. We didn't even realize this was coming up, so we're looking forward to serving the
Speak to the Villa Rica News and Views, little magazine we get. They do articles on businesses that are open. I think they'd be impressed by your family story.
And the Villa Rica
How you
City
started
menus,
during
too.
COVID and all the roadblocks you ran into, but y'all hung in there to the end.
I
All right.
also want to say one thing that I had a lot of people complain before I was on council. They were like, "Oh, we're getting a car wash. Why can't we get anything better?" Blah blah blah. I have seen that car wash is absolutely amazing, and I am waiting to take my car there. It needs it desperately. So it's the sign. The sign's not that bad. It's great. I don't know what the fuss was about, but it looks amazing, and the landscaping is beautiful.
So you now see that during council meetings, we can have commercials, advertising for good businesses. So, thank you. Good evening. Y'all don't have to stay unless you want to. We're going to move on to finance. Jennifer, item C1.
welcome to the city. All right.
Okay, good evening. Here is the financial update as of November 2023. There we go. Okay, cash as of the end of November was at $47.2 million. The general fund made up $9.8 million, water and sewer $3.9 million. We also have about $3 million that's due from GFA, from our GFA loans. They're still going through the approval process, so our water and sewer fund cash will be going up by around $3 million, hopefully within the next month. Sanitation and solid waste is $193,000. Stormwater is $1.2 million. We received, as you know, back in the end of September, the East Side TAD bonds. That was at $14.4 million, and we have the debt service to pay our capitalized interest at $1.6 million. I'm sorry. Okay. Then we have our 2015 Carroll Splost is dwindling down because of our 2021 Carroll Splost. We have our 2016 Douglas Splost at $3.8 million, and our 2022 new Douglas Splost at $1.1 million. Next. Thank you. Residential permits and taps. Through November, we've had 72 building permits at $140,000 and 19 water and sewer taps at $28,500 and $76,000. It's just a delay. Local option sales tax for the month of November, we received $209,000, which was almost a 15% increase to the same time period last year. Local option sales tax is still coming in strong. It's been coming in strong year after year. Even I've been here almost 3 years, and it's been coming in every month more than the prior year, the same month. Douglas County sales tax had an increase of around 9%. And we brought in $174,000. The business activity for water and sewer, you can see through the month of November, we brought in around $1.5 million in revenue. However, our expenses were at $1.9 million. The largest expenditure is our transfer out for our debt service payment that we make, as well as our transfer out to the general fund for the administration of the water and sewer fund. The business activity for sanitation and solid waste, we have collected $285,000 in revenue, had expenses through the month of November, through the month of November of $279,000, and we have a net income of $6,132. Last but not least is our self-funded insurance. Our contributions totaled almost $378,000, and our expenses totaled $375,000. So we had a savings of around $3,000. And in the bank, we have around $1.7 million that's been accumulating ever since we went self-funded. I believe it was in 2018. Tom, is that correct? 2018, maybe. Yeah, sounds good. 17. Okay. And that is it.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Oh, any questions from council about any of the financial? All right, we'll move on to item D1, reduction of speed limit on Clearview Street. City manager.
So I've talked to Bobby this afternoon. He's home ill. In my view now, after talking with him and hearing from some of y'all in between meetings, I think we need to spend some more time on this at the staff level before y'all vote. I think the chief's got to get more involved. We may need to talk again about the GDOT list. We need to look at the count for South Street and maybe vote on both of these at the same time. And I don't know if we're going to include Meadowlark in that, but that's my recommendation is we put this one off a month.
Yes, questions?
So I'd like to point out that, hang on, let me pull it up. According to Code of Georgia 40-6-183, municipalities in urban or residential areas are permitted to decrease the speed limit on local roads to as low as 25 miles per hour. The law is very specific in that we're not allowed to lower it any more than 25 miles per hour. And as the chief had mentioned, lowering it to 15 would not, it wouldn't be, you couldn't hold up to that.
You can't enforce
You
it.
can't enforce that, thank you. So I personally feel that lowering it is completely redundant if, one, the law prohibits us from doing so, and two, it's not enforceable anyways.
Okay. In preference to the city manager, I would make a motion that we table this to the February 13th meeting as he requested to give him time to work on this.
There's a motion, a second?
I would, if I can have a, oh, I have a second. I'm sorry. I was waiting for discussion. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do we have a second? Then we'll have discussion to the second.
Second.
Oh, we're
Okay.
tabling. I'll
We have a
second.
second.
I'll second.
Okay, if we have a motion and we have Ms. Marchman, she just beat you by a little bit. It was just quieter. Okay, discussion, yes. Councilman Mumby.
My only hesitation with tabling this is this is going to be one of those things that never come back, and we're never going to hear from it again. As we heard earlier we had residents that came up here in last May, expressed concerns about it. We've addressed some of those concerns regarding putting those temporary speed bumps, speed humps, whatever you want to call those traffic calming devices out there. I just don't want this to become a forgotten issue. That area is only going to get busier. We saw that all the proposed we can't say the name of the store, but the proposed grocer, the proposed restaurants that are all in that near that Duncan area, opening up South Street, opening up Meadowlark and the Meadowlark extension, which was the proposal with the apartment complex, and then the growth of the school, which now has a back parking lot that these students are using. So this is an issue that's only going to get worse, and I don't want to see this become one of those things that I often feel happens in the city. It goes back into the staff ether and it never comes back out.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be adamant and telling you I'm not in favor of tabling this because I want it to remain an issue to be discussed and concerned about. And I would rather vote to approve it tonight and then come back and have to revise it if we find that we have to revise it, than let it go off into the staff ether, which is my concern.
1 second. Let me say this.
Listening to Mr. Monahan and the comments that he made, that make sense to me, so I take back my second off that motion.
How do we do that?
Can I do
I know
that?
there's a way to do it. You can withdraw a second. So we
Okay,
have a
let me-
motion, and maybe we'll have, obviously, this may need a little bit more discussion. I'll just throw this out.
Let me
The whole
point out, by tabling it, it will be on the next February agenda, so it
That
will
is-
come back.
Yeah, that is the
Best of
purpose
intentions.
of, hang on, guys. Hang on, guys. The purpose of tabling is you aren't supposed to just table and take it off the agenda. It is to a specific time. We table this till February, we table this to March. It is supposed to have a specific date that it has to come back so that it doesn't get lost, because I realize that has happened with some things. So how we make sure that happens is with the specific date. So however y'all want to do it.
But Mayor, even in that case, when you were on council, you may recall this, but we had a few agenda items that just kept getting tabled every single month. And eventually, they just disappeared.
Well, this is,
lose
the
the
motion was for it to be tabled to the
Sure.
February 13th meeting, so it will be on the agenda on February, so
Okay.
it will come back.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just see how the votes go one way. Oh, yes.
Who-
Well, the second was withdrawn. We only have a motion right now.
Well, I was going to add to the discussion that, okay, we can't enforce anything under 25. It's illegal to make it 25. So whether we table it or approve or deny is kind of a moot point. Like, we could approve it, but we can't enforce it.
So-
Or we could table it and maybe come up with something better.
So, y'all, I don't practice traffic law and criminal law. I will have to defer to David, who may know that as the city attorney, but my understanding and my experience, though, is that there may be exceptions to that. I know what the statute says, but there's some certain things out there that, but anyway, but I would have to defer to David, but on that question.
Any more
So
discussion?
what I do know is that, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if there were complaints to Georgia State Patrol for writing tickets, our police officers could lose the ability to use radar at all.
Yeah, that may be. I don't know. I mean, and so some of this goes back to these are the things that staff should have, to Tom's point, probably should have vetted out before they put it on the agenda. And now we're hashing it all out here, which is a little bit awkward. But nevertheless, my overall point about tabling this is I understand the need for more information, and I generally don't have any opposition to that. When a council person says we want to table something, I'm usually on board with that. More information is better. I just don't want this, to go away, to evaporate.
And safety is absolutely a top priority. So I don't want my statements to come across as not caring about the safety. I just want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do and have all of the information in front of us.
And at this point, we do have the speed humps in there, which they have said, speed bumps at this point, they need to be humps when they become more permanent, are making a significant difference. But I think what we were talking about some is not just tabling the whole thing with the speed limit, but that somebody needs to take a more comprehensive look at all the streets, because those high school students are now, and the street that's opening up, they're going to be shooting out a number of different directions. Chief?
So after we talked about this in the earlier meeting, I rode out to the scene and rode Clearview, and definitely the speed bumps help a lot. I would, if possible, is there a way that if we are tabling this, to get another study done to see if the speed humps are making that difference, to show that the 85th percentile may be 25 now instead of 44?
This is the staff ether coming.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to have our permission. Staff can do that. And go out and do their study anytime y'all want.
That's why I was wanting to table it and give them a chance to work on it, because the city manager requested opportunity to work on this thing. In deference to him, I think we need to give him time.
I just don't want to get lost in the shuffle.
It's not going to get lost. It'll come back up in February.
You know how it does in Washington, though.
From a lot of people over on Clearview in that area.
I guarantee you it'll be on February 13th.
The speed and the so forth. So something needs to be done, that's for sure. So,
And I'm glad with the progress. I'm glad with the progress we've made so far. It's good to hear the good reports. So if you all are ready, we'll see if there's a second on the motion. We'll decide which direction to take. We have a motion on the table. Goodness gracious, forgot the motion.
Motion was to table this thing to the February 13th
To table,
meeting.
and specifically to the February meeting. Do we have a second to table?
I'll second.
We have a second to table. Well, a motion and a second. Who all is in favor? We have two? Three? We have three in favor, and who is opposed? 3-2, it passes. We table till February. Now is this the grand finale, the city manager's report?
Executive session.
Pardon?
We have an executive session.
Are we doing a city manager report? Is there a city manager report? Okay, so it's not like we're going to get it in email. I just wanted to be sure on that. Okay, then, we do have an executive session, so, what,
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Executive session for
For the purpose of discussing personnel matters as stated on the agenda.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? I almost put my hand. All those opposed? I think we're good. Unanimous.
Back into open session.
Can you get the mic close to him?
I was saying the first thing we need to have is a motion from somebody to come back into open session from executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Councilman Marchman moved. Second, who's the second? Second by Councilman Carter.
So, now you got to vote on whether you're coming back into open session.
All opposed to coming back in.
Call for the vote.
All opposed? No.
All right,
For it.
so
It's unanimous.
unanimous vote to come back into open session. There were two items that were discussed in executive session, both related to personnel. One requires no action tonight. The other, it's my understanding that there would be a motion, that someone on the council is going to make a motion to express city council support and approval for the continuation of Tom Barber to serve in the position of city manager.
It'd be mine or to make that motion.
Second.
Any
That's
further
a first.
discussion?
Any discussion?
No.
We have a first and we have a second.
Yep.
All in favor of the motion?
It's unanimous.
I think that's all the business to come before the council, so you're ready to adjourn unless there's other business.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.